The role of an operations manager is central to the smooth functioning of any business. They are responsible for overseeing day-to-day operations, optimizing processes, managing teams, ensuring compliance, and aligning operations with organizational goals. Because of this multifaceted responsibility, interviews for operations manager positions often explore not only technical knowledge but also leadership qualities, problem-solving skills, and the ability to adapt under pressure. Preparing for such an interview requires an understanding of both operational strategy and hands-on management. Employers want candidates who can analyze workflows, identify inefficiencies, and motivate staff while maintaining high productivity. In this video, we'll explore common operations manager interview questions, provide strong sample answers, and offer practical tips to help you stand out. Question 1. How do you define the role of an operations manager? Answer begins here. The role of an operations manager is to ensure that business operations run smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. It involves managing resources, supervising teams, monitoring budgets, and implementing strategies that align with organizational objectives. Essentially, an operations manager bridges the gap between strategic planning and day-to-day execution. Tip: keep your answer concise but highlight both strategic and practical aspects of the role. Question 2. How do you prioritize tasks when everything seems urgent? Answer begins here. I prioritize by evaluating the impact and urgency of each task. I often use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to categorize activities. For example, if a task directly affects customer satisfaction or revenue, it gets immediate attention. I also delegate tasks effectively to ensure nothing is overlooked while maintaining overall productivity. Tip: demonstrating structured prioritization shows leadership and organization. Question 3. Can you share an example of improving efficiency in your previous role? Answer begins here. In my last role, I noticed that supply chain delays were affecting delivery timelines. I introduced a vendor performance tracking system that evaluated suppliers based on lead times and quality. By renegotiating contracts and partnering with higher-performing vendors, we reduced delivery delays by 25% in 6 months. Tip: use measurable results to make your answer impactful. Question 4. How do you handle conflict among team members? Answer begins here. When conflicts arise, I focus on open communication and fairness. I meet with each party individually to understand their perspective, then facilitate a group discussion to reach a solution. My goal is to resolve issues constructively while ensuring team relationships remain intact. For instance, I once mediated a dispute between 2 supervisors about resource allocation by introducing a transparent scheduling system. Tip: show emotional intelligence and conflict resolution skills. Question 5. How do you ensure compliance with policies and regulations? Answer begins here. I keep up to date with industry regulations and ensure all policies are clearly communicated to the team. I also implement regular audits and training sessions to reinforce compliance. For example, in my previous job, I created a compliance checklist system that reduced audit failures by 30%. Tip: employers look for proactive approaches, not just reactive fixes. Question 6. What KPIs do you consider important for operations management? Answer begins here. I track key performance indicators like productivity rate, cost efficiency, customer satisfaction, on-time delivery, and employee turnover. These metrics give a balanced view of performance across efficiency, quality, and people management. For instance, reducing turnover is as critical as cutting costs because it impacts long-term productivity. Tip: mention KPIs relevant to the company's industry. Question 7. How do you manage budgets and control costs? Answer begins here. I believe in proactive financial management. I regularly compare actual spending against forecasts and analyze variances. For example, I reduced operational costs by 15% by negotiating vendor contracts and implementing an energy efficiency program across facilities. These changes not only saved money but also improved sustainability. Tip: highlight cost-saving initiatives with measurable results. Question 8. How do you motivate your team during challenging times? Answer begins here. I motivate teams by maintaining transparent communication, recognizing achievements, and providing support. During a major restructuring, I held weekly check-ins to address concerns and highlight progress. This kept morale high, and despite the changes, productivity improved by 10%. Tip: show leadership, empathy, and the ability to inspire. Question 9. Describe your experience with process improvement methodologies. Answer begins here. I am experienced with Lean and Six Sigma methodologies. In one instance, I used Lean principles to streamline warehouse operations, reducing redundant steps in the inventory process. This reduced order fulfillment time by 20% and significantly improved customer satisfaction. Tip: mention specific frameworks and practical results. Question 10. How do you handle high-pressure situations or tight deadlines? Answer begins here. I remain calm and focus on breaking down tasks into manageable parts. For example, during a product launch, we faced a critical delay due to a vendor issue. I quickly reassigned responsibilities, secured an alternative supplier, and coordinated additional shifts to meet the deadline successfully. Tip: stress composure, adaptability, and teamwork under pressure. Question 11. How do you ensure effective communication across departments? Answer begins here. I establish clear communication channels through regular meetings, shared dashboards, and collaboration tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams. I also encourage cross-departmental workshops to ensure alignment. This approach reduced misunderstandings in my last role and improved interdepartmental project completion by 15%. Tip: employers value strong cross-functional collaboration. Question 12. How do you evaluate employee performance? Answer begins here. I use a mix of quantitative and qualitative methods. I set clear objectives aligned with KPIs and also consider teamwork, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. I hold regular performance reviews and provide constructive feedback. In my experience, this approach not only measures performance but also helps in professional development. Tip: emphasize fairness, feedback, and growth. Question 13. What's your approach to supply chain management? Answer begins here. I focus on building strong vendor relationships, maintaining accurate forecasts, and implementing contingency plans. For example, I developed a dual sourcing strategy for critical materials, which helped us avoid disruptions during a regional supplier shutdown. Tip: show risk management awareness in supply chain discussions. Question 14. How do you incorporate technology into operations management? Answer begins here. I believe technology is a key driver of efficiency. I've implemented ERP systems to centralize data, introduced workflow automation tools, and used data analytics dashboards for real-time insights. For instance, by automating reporting, we saved 10 hours of manual work per week. Tip: highlight practical uses of technology that improved outcomes. Question 15. Why should we hire you as our operations manager? Answer begins here. You should hire me because I bring a strong track record of streamlining processes, reducing costs, and improving team productivity. I combine strategic thinking with hands-on management and have consistently delivered measurable results. I'm confident I can bring the same level of efficiency and growth to your organization. Tip: tie your answer back to the company's needs and goals. Closing thoughts. Operations manager interview questions are designed to assess not only your technical expertise but also your ability to lead, motivate, and optimize resources. Employers want someone who can think strategically while managing day-to-day challenges effectively. By preparing thoughtful answers, demonstrating real-world achievements, and emphasizing leadership skills, you can position yourself as a strong candidate. Remember, the most effective answers balance clear methodology with specific examples and measurable results. Add to that strong communication and a solutions-oriented mindset, and you'll leave a lasting impression in any operations manager interview.